At 5:41 local time, the forward weapon shutters on the U.S. aircraft carrier cycle open. Steel moves. Hydraulics whisper. No alarms, no raised voices. On the flight deck, sailors pause in place as the Combat Information Center sends the call through. One surface contact has appeared without warning. Bearing steady, speed increasing. The ocean is almost perfectly flat. The sky is clear. It is the kind of morning that reveals nothing until it is already too late. At first, the radar return looks clean. Then the reflection spikes, brighter than expected, too sharp for ordinary painted steel. The track stays locked on course. No AIS, no identification broadcast, no answer to the first radio call. Distance, 23 nautical miles, closing. Long-range optics zoom in. The image sharpens in the daylight. A small warship, compact profile. Bow pointed directly toward the carrier's projected path. Sunlight flashes across its hull, but not in the usual white or gray glare. This reflection is different. Gold. A plated surface catches the morning sun like a mirror, throwing hard flashes back across the water. On the bridge, the captain says nothing. He does not need to. The watch officers already understand the situation. In CIC, the plot is updated. The contact maintains speed, no zigzag, no wide testing turn, no attempt to drift away, just a straight line. Intent without performance. Surface contact continues inbound. The tactical action officer reports that the course is unchanged. A second radio call is sent out. Short, formal, recorded. Still no response. The carrier does not turn. It holds steady speed and steady heading, a moving city of steel that does not answer pressure by stepping aside. At 18 nautical miles, the details become clearer. A small flag appears at the stern. Red, white, green. Iran. It hangs low, barely moving, only visible when the vessel yaws a few degrees before correcting back onto its line. The gold-plated hull keeps coming. On the carrier's escort screen, a guided missile destroyer adjusts position, sliding outward to widen the defensive arc. The movement is subtle, almost graceful, but it is deliberate. Its forward deck gun rotates a few degrees, just enough for anyone watching to notice. No dramatic signals, no escalation, just posture. CIC records the time, the bearing, the speed. Every second is documented. At 14 nautical miles, the reflection from the contact begins to complicate the surface search picture. The plating throws back sunlight and radar energy, creating noise where there should be clarity. The electronic warfare team marks it, catalogs it, and lets the systems analyze the pattern. The contact does not slow. CPA decreasing. Closest point of approach is now projected inside the safe margin. On the flight deck, a Seahawk helicopter begins to spin up. The blades move slowly at first, then faster, cutting into the air. The aircraft lifts cleanly, nose slightly low, and slides off the starboard side into a low orbit above the water. No announcement is needed. The helicopter's presence says enough. At 10 nautical miles, the Iranian vessel finally changes something. Engine output rises. The wake stretches longer, the bow presses deeper into the sea. It is not a final move, not yet, but it is a push. Pressure applied with throttle instead of words. The helicopter swings wide and settles into a parallel track, matching speed and holding altitude just above the wave tops. Its sensors activate, cameras lock, everything is recorded. Another radio call goes out, this time bridge to bridge. English first, then Persian. Clear instructions, clear warning. Silence comes back. The gold hull keeps its line on the carrier. No one celebrates, no one speculates. The ship does not need to guess motives. It measures actions, speed, bearing, distance. At 7 nautical miles, sunlight flashing from the hull forces the optics to adjust. The vessel's bridge windows remain dark. No visible signals, no raised flags, no gestures. CIC makes the assessment. The approach is deliberate. The helicopter drops another 50 feet. Its shadow skims across the water, reaches the Iranian ship, climbs over the bow, and slides across the gold-plated face like a dark blade. The carrier still does not turn. The ocean remains calm. The sky remains clear. And the distance between the two ships continues to fall, quietly and precisely, toward the point where the next decision will matter more than everything that came before it. At 5:49 local time, the closest point of approach drops below 6 nautical miles. The numbers update in real time across the CIC display. Distance shrinking, bearing steady, speed holding just above 20 knots. No erratic movement, no probing turns, no attempt to break away. The Iranian vessel is no longer testing reactions. It is committing to a line. The tactical action officer reports it in the same calm tone. Contact remains inbound. No response to hails. Another entry is logged. Another timestamp. On the bridge, nothing changes. The carrier's helm holds course as if the contact is not there. But this is not indifference. It is doctrine. The ship does not maneuver to accommodate pressure. It forces the other side to make the choice. The Seahawk tightens its orbit, altitude steady, range constant. Its sensor turret tracks the Iranian vessel from bow to stern, reading exhaust heat, thermal contrast, and the uneven glow of the plated hull. In infrared, the gold surface looks alive. Hot patches where the sun has warmed the metal, cooler seams where panels meet. The helicopter crew says only what is necessary. Every frame is time-stamped. Every second is archived. At 5 nautical miles, the Iranian ship makes its first visible adjustment. It is almost nothing. A 2-degree yaw to port. Not enough to change the intercept, just enough to prove control. Then it corrects back onto its original heading. The message is unmistakable. We see you, and we are not turning. The destroyer on the carrier's flank eases another 1,000 yards outward. Smooth, controlled, unhurried. Its forward deck gun follows the movement, turning only a little farther. Still no hard signal, no aggressive cue. The system is not making a statement by sound. It is making one by being visible. CIC updates the board again. CPA, 4.8 nautical miles. Time to CPA, 9 minutes. The electronic warfare team marks intermittent emissions coming from the Iranian vessel. Low-power surface search radar, cycling on and off. Not a final targeting system, not at this stage, but active enough to matter. The data is captured, labeled, and stored. Above the water, inside the Seahawk, the crew brings a narrow green laser marker online. It is non-lethal, precise, and unmistakable. For a moment, it touches the Iranian vessel's superstructure, then shifts across the bridge windows. No words, no dramatic gesture, just presence. The Iranian ship gives no reply. Instead, its speed rises. 1 knot, then another. The wake lengthens behind it, bright white against the blue water. The bow wave grows heavier, more forceful, loud enough to register even through the helicopter crew's headsets. Contact increasing speed, CIC reports. Intent remains unchanged. This is the kind of moment where a small error can become something much larger. Tight water, closing speed. 2 ships with very different size and weight, neither one choosing to give way first. But the carrier does not adjust. The helicopter does not retreat. The destroyer does not press forward. The pressure remains balanced, controlled, and deliberate. At 4 nautical miles, the sunlight reflecting from the hull becomes almost blinding. The gold plating sends back glare in hard bursts, forcing the camera filters to adapt. The image sharpens again, revealing figures on the Iranian ship's deck. Helmets on, bodies stiff, hands near rails, not raised toward equipment. No deck crew preparing visible systems, no open display of heavier equipment. But posture is not measured by hardware alone. Another radio call goes out, shorter this time, firmer. It is logged, recorded, and transmitted on open channels. Still, nothing comes back. Inside the carrier, crews on the flight deck secure loose equipment. Not because anyone assumes what comes next, but because readiness never waits for certainty. The ship continues forward, its massive hull cutting cleanly through the water without a single deviation. At 3 nautical miles, CIC calls it again. CPA now projected under 3. This is no longer a close pass. This is an approach. The captain finally speaks. 1 sentence, calm, measured. Maintain course, continue recording. No change in posture, no shift in tone. The Seahawk drops another 20 feet, now riding just above the spray. The green marker steadies on the Iranian bridge windows for 3 full seconds before cutting out. The message is impossible to miss. We are here. We are watching. This is all being documented. The Iranian ship holds its line. The ocean remains flat, the sky remains clear, and the distance keeps falling. Every system is awake now, not to create noise, not to force a scene, but to observe, to preserve, and to make sure that when the decisive moment arrives, there is no confusion over who moved, who held steady, and who pushed the line. At 2.5 nautical miles, CIC updates the board again. No raised flags, no voice transmission, only speed, only direction, only intent, and the margin for error is nearly gone. At 5:56 local time, the closest point of approach crosses the final threshold. CIC does not dramatize it. The numbers simply refresh: range, bearing, time. The projection settles inside a zone where intent is no longer theoretical. At this distance, miscalculation can no longer hide behind uncertainty. CPA now 2 nautical miles, the tactical action officer says. Decreasing. The Iranian vessel is still pointed straight down the carrier's projected track. Speed steady, no course correction, no acknowledgement. Its plated hull throws sunlight back in sharp, broken flashes, forcing every optical system to adjust again and again. On the bridge, the carrier's captain remains motionless. He watches the plot, not the horizon. Decisions here are made from data, not impulse. The Seahawk tightens once more, dropping to 200 feet, then 150. It holds a parallel line just off the Iranian ship's port bow. Cameras continue rolling. Infrared shows engine heat rising. The exhaust is hotter now than it was minutes earlier. The ship is pushing. The electronic warfare team marks another change. Surface search emissions are coming more often now. Still not a final targeting signal. Still probing. Still recorded. Contact is actively tracking, CIC reports. No weapons indications. That distinction matters. It defines the narrow space between pressure and direct hostility. The carrier stays inside that space, forcing the other vessel to decide whether it will cross it. At 1.8 nautical miles, the Iranian ship makes its next move. The throttle advances again. Brief, deliberate. The bow wave tightens. The nose lifts just enough to be noticed. It is not a turn. It is a shove. On the escort destroyer, the forward deck gun settles onto its bearing. The movement is minimal and controlled, but impossible to miss. The mount stops rotating. It holds. No firing sequence begins. No visible escalation follows. The weapon simply exists. Fully visible, fully ready. CIC updates the board. Contact speed increased. CPA now 1.6. The helicopter slides even closer to the water, now riding just above the spray. The green marker snaps back on. This time it stays fixed directly on the Iranian bridge windows. 3 seconds, 4, 5. Then it cuts out. Still no response. This is the line. At this range, any further closure demands a choice. Either the approaching ship changes course, or the encounter moves into a place that cannot easily be reversed. There is no space left for signaling by distance alone. The carrier does not maneuver. It never does. Turning now would concede the encounter. Holding course places the responsibility completely on the ship that keeps coming. Inside CIC, the voices remain even. Recommend next step on escalation ladder. The captain gives a single nod. Proceed. The Seahawk shifts position, banking gently before crossing ahead of the Iranian vessel at low altitude. Not a flyover, not a stunt, a calculated pass that places the aircraft directly in the ship's forward field of view. Close enough to be undeniable, far enough to remain controlled. The helicopter's downwash ripples the water in front of the Iranian bow. Spray lifts and breaks apart in the air. The aircraft steadies again, nose forward, sensors locked. For the first time, movement on the Iranian bridge changes. Figures shift quickly. One sailor steps forward, then back. Another raises binoculars. The ship's forward motion hesitates for a fraction of a second, but the heading does not change. CIC watches the numbers. Speed fluctuating. Course steady. The margin collapses to seconds. At 1.3 nautical miles, the Iranian vessel's wake suddenly shortens. The bow wave softens. The engine note drops, loud enough to be heard even through the helicopter's rotors. Contact reducing speed, CIC calls. It is the first real change of the encounter. For 2 long seconds, the ship continues on the same line. Then, slowly and deliberately, it begins to turn to starboard. Not sharply, not in panic. A controlled deviation just enough to break the intercept. The CPA projection jumps. 1.3, then 1.8, then 2.2 nautical miles. The carrier never changes course. The Seahawk holds position. The laser is off now, but the cameras keep rolling. The destroyer's gun mount remains fixed, unmoving, until the separation grows beyond immediate concern. At 6 o'clock local time, the Iranian vessel is no longer aligned with the carrier's path. The distance begins to open with every passing second. The plated hull still flashes in the sunlight, but now from an angle. It is sliding away, no longer pressing forward. No announcement is made. No one calls it a win. CIC simply keeps logging. Contact altering course away. Speed reduced. The captain gives one final instruction. Maintain recording. Do not pursue. The line had been crossed, then at the last possible moment stepped back from. The ocean remains calm, the sky stays clear, and the carrier continues forward unchanged, leaving behind only widening water and a decision that cannot be taken back. At 6:01 local time, the geometry finally breaks. It does not happen all at once. There is no dramatic swing of the helm, no spray thrown sideways, no sudden move that tells the whole story. Just numbers changing on the CIC display. Bearing drift, CPA increasing by tenths, then by full points. Contact altering course to starboard, the tactical action officer reports. Speed now decreasing. On the surface, the Iranian vessel's bow wave weakens. The long white wake that had stretched behind it begins to shorten, soften, and lose its edge. The plated hull is no longer pointed directly into the carrier's track. Now, it slides across it. For the first time since contact, separation is increasing. The Seahawk remains low and steady. Sensors fixed, no laser, no new maneuver. The aircraft does not chase the turn. It allows the turn to happen. CIC confirms the change again, this time slower and more deliberate. CPA now increasing. 2.5 nautical miles. On the bridge, the captain does not answer. He does not need to. The carrier's posture remains exactly the same. Same speed, same heading, same calm movement through open water. That matters. The carrier does not reward compliance by turning away. It does not step back from pressure that has already been applied. It simply continues. The Iranian vessel keeps turning, 1 degree at a time. Not a sudden breakaway, not an obvious retreat, a controlled withdrawal, careful enough to preserve appearance while ending the intercept. The heading shifts far enough to clear the carrier's path, then holds. Speed drops again, 19 knots, then 17. The electronic warfare team notes one final surface search emission. Brief, weak, then nothing. The radar goes quiet. Emissions ceased, CIC logs. The destroyer on the carrier's flank holds station. Its gun mount remains aligned. Still visible, still steady. No further movement, no escalation. At 3 nautical miles, the situation stabilizes. The helicopter climbs slightly, easing back to 300 feet and widening its orbit just enough to show that the pressure has peaked. The cameras keep rolling. Documentation does not stop just because the danger is fading. From the Seahawk's optics, the Iranian ship's deck tells the rest of the story. Sailors step away from the rails, helmets come off. One figure briefly raises both hands. Not a signal, not surrender, just a reflex, a release of tension. No one responds. CIC updates again. Contact maintaining divergent course. CPA now 3.8. The carrier's flight deck remains quiet. No launches, no recoveries. The ship moves as it always does. Massive, unhurried, unshaken by the encounter it has just forced to resolve itself. At 6:05 local time, separation exceeds 5 nautical miles. The Iranian vessel is now clearly outside the carrier's immediate safety margin. It continues on its new heading, angled away. The gold-plated hull still catches the sunlight, but it no longer throws it forward like a challenge. The captain speaks again, his voice even. Stand down to monitoring posture. Maintain logs. The destroyer's gun mount rotates back to neutral, slowly, deliberately. Not rushed, not hidden. The movement remains visible until it is complete. The Seahawk completes one final wide orbit, then turns back toward the carrier, climbing as it goes. The aircraft does not hurry. There is no reason to. On the CIC board, the contact is downgraded, no longer an active intercept. Now only a monitored surface track. The color changes. The tone does not. Every second of the encounter is already stored. Bearings, speeds, emissions, video, laser use. All of it time-stamped, synchronized, and locked into the record. The carrier never changed course. The carrier never increased speed. The carrier never issued an empty threat. And still, the intercept ended. At 6:10 local time, the Iranian vessel sits more than 8 nautical miles off the carrier's quarter. Still visible, still tracked, no longer important. The sea closes behind both ships, erasing a line that had existed only in data, judgment, and decisions. To someone watching from far away, nothing extraordinary has happened. 2 ships passed at sea, no fire exchanged, no voices heard, no visible drama. But inside the logs, the encounter is complete. Pressure applied, response measured, outcome recorded. The carrier continues on its planned track, unchanged from the moment before the contact first appeared. The Seahawk returns to the flight deck and settles down cleanly. Its rotors slow as crews move in, already pulling data cards for review. There is no announcement, no summary for the crew. At sea, outcomes speak for themselves, and this one is already written. By 6:18 local time, separation exceeds 12 nautical miles. The Iranian ship remains on radar, but only as a background track now. Steady, predictable, no longer shaping the carrier's movement or posture. The contact is not pursued. It does not need to be. At sea, resolution is defined by behavior, not distance alone. Inside the Combat Information Center, the tempo eases, but it never disappears. Operators replay the timeline frame by frame. Speed changes, bearing shifts, emission spikes. The moment the intercept geometry broke, the instant the wake shortened. The exact second intent reversed. Nothing is debated. Everything is measured. The data tells the story clearly. The Iranian vessel approached on a direct intercept. It ignored repeated hails. It increased speed inside the safety margin. It held course until controlled, non-lethal pressure forced a decision. Then it turned away before the encounter crossed into a point that could not be walked back. Those are facts. They do not need decoration. On the flight deck, the Seahawk is secured. Its crew hands over storage cards, each one tagged and sealed. Daylight video, infrared from multiple angles, laser usage logs, flight path overlays. The encounter now exists in permanent detail, protected from revision. The destroyer resumes its previous station, sliding back into the carrier's defensive formation as if nothing unusual has happened. From the horizon, the formation looks unchanged. That is the point. The carrier never adjusted course. That single detail carries weight. In maritime encounters, movement is language. Turning away gives up space. Accelerating raises the temperature. Holding course transfers responsibility. The carrier chose the last option and held it from first contact to final separation. The Iranian vessel did not. No announcement is made to the crew, no briefing comes over the shipwide system, sailors return to routine work, maintenance, watch reliefs, flight deck preparation. Professionalism does not need a closing ceremony. At sea, the log is the closure. Inside CIC, the final entry is time-stamped and locked. The contact is downgraded again, now treated as routine traffic under continued observation. Its emissions remain quiet. Its course remains divergent. No further action is needed. What remains is the wake, not the physical one. The ocean has already smoothed that away. What remains is the operational trace, the invisible path of decisions recorded in data. Exactly where pressure was applied, exactly where it worked. There is no mention of gold in the report's conclusion. The plating does not matter. Reflective surfaces do not decide outcomes. Systems do. Discipline does. Restraint does. The carrier continues forward following the same navigation plan set long before the Iranian vessel appeared on radar. Waypoints remain unchanged. Speed remains constant. No adjustment is made to accommodate what has already passed. That matters too. It means the encounter did not dictate operations. It did not slow the mission. It did not divert the ship beyond the readiness already in place. In naval terms, that is control. At 6:40 local time, the Iranian vessel fades deeper into the background clutter. Eventually, it will blend into ordinary surface traffic, indistinguishable on the display except for the record it has already left behind. No one on board speculates about motive. Motive is not required. Intent was demonstrated. Response was calibrated. Outcome was achieved. That is the end state. At sea, power is not measured by how close you get. It is measured by who forces the decision and who carries the cost of making it. The carrier did not speak. It did not signal triumph. It did not turn. It simply continued. And somewhere astern, in widening water, the gold-plated hull did the only remaining thing it could do. It moved away. The ocean closed. The logs remained. And the encounter passed into record. Another measured moment where intent met restraint and restraint proved enough. At sea, that is often how it ends. Quietly, precisely, with the ship that held its line still holding it.